Before we get started, I just want to remind you guys that we have timestamps in the description, so you can click on any of the timestamps to move around the video freely. And now, let's begin. Men are frustrated. They're tired of the nonsense, they're tired of the games, they're tired of the BS. Watch the video to fully understand the implications of men walking away, as more men are avoiding dating and relationships entirely. Today's video comes from Man Talk. His channel will be linked in the description, so you can go check him out and support him. And now let's just go ahead and jump right into the video.
I want to know what you think the length of time should be before you get engaged to someone. Now, don't shoot me, right? I think if a man has not proposed to you after 5 years, you are not the one. What we say.
Well, sweetie, considering we men would rather avoid crap like this.
Babe, it looks crooked to me.
Babe, it's not crooked. It's the wall that is crooked. That is crooked by like an inch and a half. It's not crooked.
Are you sure that it's not crooked?
Do you see this bubble? Look, the bubble is in between, perfectly centered between the two lines. Perfectly centered.
Maybe the bubble is wrong?
Oh my God. The bubble is not wrong.
And crap like this.
Today it is my husband's funeral, which unfortunately I cannot make because obviously I am busy here in Tunisia. I would have loved to have gone. We were together for 17 years. Unfortunately for me, he did decide to die on the week I had planned to come on holiday, so I did make the decision not to go because, you know, I need a holiday at the end of the day, and my holiday is way more important than sitting in a church watching people cry. I would love to give him a good send-off, so I'm going to get absolutely drunk tonight with this new guy that I met, and I'm going to raise a glass for you, Jeremy, because you were an amazing husband, very rich. I can't wait to do the will reading when I'm home. I have made sure I'm going to be home in time to do the will reading because I would not miss that for the world.
Bruh.
The length of time before we propose marriage is never.
The motherhood penalty is so much more than just the wage gap.
Look, Paige, I'm gonna tell you what your husband should tell you, but is too scared of divorce to tell you, which is, it's way too early in the morning for me to be dealing with this bullshit, so go feel sorry for yourself somewhere outside my field of view.
Dismissed.
This person here is
Dismissed!
I'm not a feminist. I can see men and I don't immediately feel threatened.
I'm a feminist and self-defense instructor, and if a woman feels threatened by a man, there's typically a good reason.
Yeah, if you feel threatened by every man you see walking down the street, the reason is probably paranoia.
I totally get this question, but one of the single most impactful things I can do as a self-defense instructor is educate women on. The reason being is that the most common misconception about women's safety, violence against women, and self-defense is that the person most likely to hurt you will be a stranger. I understand where this statement might come from.
I do too, because having looked at your TikTok page, which has self-defense in the title, the only self-defense related video I've seen is just you kicking a training dummy. All of your other videos are you complaining about men being dangerous in a subtle #it's-all-men kind of way.
What does a movie about DV have to do with teaching women self-defense? The sad, uncomfortable, and terrifying reality is that statistically the person most likely to is not a stranger. It's a husband, a boyfriend, a partner, or an ex.
Yeah, and the women you're talking about picked those men to be their boyfriends or husbands. No one put guns to their heads and made them pick those men.
If I only taught women in this community how to defend themselves against strangers, I would be doing us all a huge disservice.
Very nice words, but happens to be wrong.
Sweetie, you know how I know that you have no idea what you're talking about? Because as a martial arts instructor myself, I know something that you as a quote-unquote self-defense instructor apparently don't know, which is, if you know how to defend yourself against a stranger, you're gonna know how to defend yourself against people you know, too. Mind blown, I know, but think about it. I've personally been training for over 21 years, mostly to defend against strangers. But if my girlfriend or wife would, let's say, try to hit me with a bat or stab me, 21 years of training doesn't suddenly turn off because my attacker isn't a stranger. And if you're gonna say it's more dangerous because you don't expect your spouse to attack you, sweetie, you don't expect to get sucker punched by a stranger just walking down the street either.
Modern women no longer have respect for men. That's a very, very important point to make. It's very, very vital that a woman respects you. But when we say respect, we need to make it very clear what respect actually is. Because respect doesn't mean the same thing for everyone. You see, respect also means that they fear you to some degree. This doesn't mean that they think you're going to be a person that any time will snap on them. All right? They have to know that they are safe with you. But on the other hand, they also have to know that you are capable of doing violence, that you're capable of defending yourself, that you're capable of standing up to them as well. This is the reason why women will get into relationships with very bad guys that are very toxic and that are even very not good for them because they feel that these guys are capable of protecting them because these men are capable of standing up to them. Now, that doesn't mean this is the type of guy you're supposed to be, but any woman that you are with will know she's not supposed to challenge you. Okay? It's very, very clear. Back in the old day, grandma knew not to challenge grandpa. After grandpa went out there into the world, fighting hard each and every single day, launching a war each and every, fighting a war each and every single day, standing up to just crazy odds every single day to come home and then what, to put up with her shit now? I don't think so. Grandma's job was to make sure that food was ready when grandpa got home. To ask grandpa, did he want his dinner first or did he want his bath first? To make sure when grandpa got home, there was a cold drink waiting for him. That his chair, his recliner, was nice and prepared for him. That the house smelled nice in scents that grandpa liked. For example, if grandma used a scent that he didn't like, then grandpa that should never use it again. If grandpa says, "Yeah, I don't like how that shit smells," grandma would say, "Oh, okay. Well, what do you like? What smell do you like?" Okay, because she wants grandpa. This is grandpa's castle. She's allowed to live there. Okay, this is grandpa's castle that she's allowed to live in, and it's her job to make his castle comfortable for him. It's her job to make grandpa feel like a king in his kingdom. Okay? She is one of the she is a person who works in his kingdom. She is not the representative of his kingdom. Let me make this clear as men. We can go off, and a lot of men do this, and we can buy some land and we can build our kingdom. Okay? We can buy a couple of acres of land and we can build out all kinds of shit on our kingdom. And that is our kingdom. That's our land. That is our kingdom. Even if we're the only ones living there, that's still our kingdom. Someone will go, a kingdom of one. Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice. I have everything that I could want here. Some of us have animals. We have everything we need. That's our kingdom. So when a woman steps foot into our kingdom, it's her job to create value within our kingdom. And it doesn't matter if it's a bunch of acres of land with a barn and all kinds of nice stuff on there, or a ranch. It could just be an apartment. But wherever I pay the bills. All right, I'm the man. I provide and protect. This is my kingdom. This is why a man should never be in a position where the woman is she's the one who owns the house or it's her apartment. That's a load of bullshit. You should always have space for yourself as a man. Never, ever, ever let a woman have ownership over your space. Okay? This notion, we have to be fair to women. Women are not fair to us. Okay? This is literally a competition for survival. And there's so many idiot guys who will listen to my videos and they don't want to learn these things. They don't want to understand these things. They want to keep fucking around. And they're like, "Oh, Angry, you're going too far. Angry, you're not being kind." Let me tell you something about being kind. Kindness is telling the truth. It's so funny because I look at some Gen Xers, and some Gen Xers are pieces of shit. I like Gen X as a generation, but there's some Gen Xers who are pieces of shit because they allow their kids to act like fucking idiots. They allow Gen Zers to run wild. They don't set them straight. They don't tell them, "Listen, kid, life is fucking hard." No, instead they give them PlayStations, Xboxes, iPhones, tablets, you name it, they've gotten it. And yes, I understand. We lived very hard lives. Those of us that grew up during the Gen X era, we lived hard lives. Our parents were terrible people, and when we became adults, we didn't want our children to go through what we went through, so we were fair to them. And we basically gave them comfortable lives. And the consequence of giving them comfortable lives, too comfortable, we thought that they would grow up they would grow up being stable and in a stable household, and in as a result of that, they would turn out better. That's not what happened. These little good for nothings barely can read and write. They can barely read or write, and yeah, you just hear the disappointment in my voice. They have very poor hard skills and soft skills. They're not very good with technology. They can use tech to some point, and they rely heavily on tech, but they're not very good when it comes to understanding how technology actually works. What's the actual underlying technology behind the technology that we use? You know, a lot of these jokers can't even write an email and they take no accountability for anything because their parents never held them accountable for anything. Their go-to is literally, "And whose fault is that?" If you challenge Gen Z on anything, their natural response is, "And whose fault is that?" They go back to blaming their parents, something the baby boomers are still doing. So you kind of have to be very, very mindful with these things. But the truth of the matter is that the relationship between men and women today, it's only getting worse. Women have everything and they still want more. They have to find every little thing to nitpick about. Basically characterizing men as dangers or as a complete danger to them. Women have never been safer. Women have never been safer in the United States. Rates of crime have gone down substantially, but yet women are still screeching and hollering. Why are they doing this? Because they need to find something else to complain about. Guys, this is narcissistic abuse. It's narcissistic torture. That's what women are engaged in right now. Because the better it gets, the worse they'll say it is. This is the truth about modern women. The better their lives get, the more rights they have, the more privileges, because they're privileges, the more privileges or rights, whatever you want to call them, the more safety that they have, the more money they have, the more they will say things are bad. The more they have, the worse they will say life is. The safer they are, the less safe they feel. Okay? Because there's no such thing as enough for them. They will always find something else to complain about. They will always find something else to go on about. This is how they think.
Oh, by the way, you know why walking down the street is becoming increasingly dangerous in Western countries, especially for women? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section, but back on topic, you see, training for several years with a proper instructor, not a TikTok cringe poster, creates reflexes. Self-defense becomes muscle memory. And you might find yourself, like I did, in a situation where your significant other, in my case, my girlfriend at that time, is playfully trying to choke you without actually applying force, and you instinctually escape the choke without even thinking about it. So yeah, you're not teaching women self-defense on TikTok, you're just teaching them to be afraid of men, just like any other woman who bashes men on TikTok, trying to farm outrage clicks from other bitter women.
Pathetic.
Y'all can be bitter. I'm cool with that, Ain't no fight on my end, baby. See, when let's let the truth reveal who's the strongest and who's the weakest. If women find out who y'all really are at the core and they know what I know and they stop dealing with you, let's see who go crazy first. Let's see who destroy the world. Now, y'all can either humble yourself. Every tongue shall confess and every knee shall bow that the true God is feminine energy.
What?
The true God is feminine energy.
Heresy!
PSA from the Imperial Inquisition to all the lovely ladies who would have the heretical audacity to describe your energy as godlike. Listen and understand. There will be no timeline, present or future, in which women stop dealing with men. Case in point.
I'm tired of being alone. I want to share my life with someone. I am just freaking tired. I want to be in love. I want to share my life with someone. I want to feel the joys. I want to have my hands held. I want to be held. I want to kiss. I want to support. I want to make coffee with that person. I want my person.
Like, I genuinely just want love in my life so badly. Truly, the only thing I'm missing in my life is someone to enjoy it with. And I'm so sick of waiting. Like, when is it going to be my turn? I don't expect a lot. I just want love in my life so bad. I want my life partner. Am I just supposed to be alone? Like, is that the message? That this beautiful life I've built for myself, like, it's just supposed to be me in it alone?
And in case you didn't get the message, check this out.
But one of his strengths are when I crumble, he can step in and be that anchor.
It's amazing.
Because I'm usually just alpha. Yes. I don't need any help. But actually, I do need help. I do need a partner. And for as strong as I am, I was like, no, I do need. If I come downstairs and the kitchen is clean and you've done it all and you've done all the dishes and you've closed all the pantry doors, you better be ready to get your dick. I mean, like, literally, that is my love language. I don't need a red Ferrari. I can buy a red Ferrari. Just do the dishes. I will suck your.
Yeah, that's Katy Perry. Multi-millionaire celebrity singer Katy Perry crying about needing a man and offering DNA drainage services for a man.
Just like a woman.
You see, for every bitter woman talking crap about men on TikTok, there are several other women ready to betray the sisterhood when Chad comes along. But sweetie, in case you're wondering what's gonna happen if women quote-unquote stop dealing with men, it's pretty much this.
Whatever. Just make sure you give me confirmation number.
What? Ain't no confirmation number.
What you mean?
Ain't no confirmation number. I cancel the flight. I cancel your flight. Buy your own ticket. You ain't trying to go on them cheeks? No. It's so bad. I ain't even get your bag. Here, your bag.
I came here with nothing. Are you serious?
Cool. Go. I'm dead serious. You ain't want to give me no cheeks? You got a deal.
Nigga, you're lame as because you can't get no.
I'm saying you gotta go. You gotta go. I'm not paying for your ticket.
You see, guys, women have brought things to this point. They've brought things to a point where men are no longer going to just give them straight up handouts. Men are no longer going to play this game. Men are basically like, yeah, sweetie, miss me with that. You know, you've taken this as far as you're going to take it, and now I'm just going to walk away and call it a day. Men are waking up to the BS games that women play, and they're not tolerating it anymore because it's simply not worth the trouble. It's not worth the pain. It's not worth the suffering. It's just not worth it for the average man to continue putting up with the nonsense that the average woman is bringing into his life. As men, we have to struggle so much in our lives. We have to give so much to survive. We have to put up with so much only to find ourselves being disrespected, shamed, humiliated. For what? By someone who does not even like us? Guys, this is the thing. All roads lead back to Uncle Angry. All roads lead back to Uncle Angry. I used to say at the end of my videos, and all roads lead. Let's listen. How did it go? And just remember that all roads lead to. How did it go? And just remember that all roads lead to MGTOW. I'm just gonna spell it out. Or death. And cheers. That's how the videos used to go. And basically, it's like it's a, kind of like it's a collective awakening and realization that when it comes to relationships, when it comes to women, women are always going to be women, no matter where you go. It doesn't matter if you go to the Philippines. It doesn't matter if you go to sub-Saharan Africa. All women are the same. They all have the same mental state. They all want the same things. They all have the same attitudes. It's just that some women have learned how to go about getting what they want differently. And there's differences in culture. This thing with women wanting to control men, be like men, it's something that has been there forever. The only difference is that, every girl is born with it. The only difference is that, in Western society, it's like a seed that's inside of them at the time of birth. And if it's given sunlight, it's given water, it's allowed to grow. And it spreads throughout their inner being. And it's in their hands, it's in their arms, it's in their legs, it's in their eyes, it's in their brain. It's a part of them. This whole women's empowerment thing. Listen to what Katy Perry actually said. She said that she wants, if she goes downstairs and the dishes are washed and everything is done well, she's going to be so turned on. She's full of shit. She's full of shit. She doesn't want to Chad washing dishes. She doesn't want to chat. If you're in a relationship with someone, of course you're going to wash the dishes sometimes, but that's only if you're in a relationship with someone who is, using their head, okay, and using reason. Because the average woman uses feelings, not facts. So to be very, very clear with you, most women just can't handle being alone. They cannot handle being alone. They lie, they say they can, but they can't handle it. I had this one idiot saying that, oh, angry. I know a lot of single women who are living alone and, they're doing just fine on their own. So it's not that all women cannot be alone. And these were older single women. And I'm thinking to myself, bro, you don't even know what's going on. You think that they're telling you the truth. They're not telling you the truth. They basically are just fronting. That's what most women do. Most women put on a front. They pretend like they're doing well. They pretend like everything is okay. It's not. And, if little do you know, they're financially they're not doing may not be well. Or they cry themselves to sleep at night. They feel extremely lonely. If they were left completely, maybe they have a social circle, but they get lonely. They get lonely, and some of these are the most miserable people you'll ever meet. And you think that they're doing well, but they're not. Now, don't forget there are also introverts out there, and introverts can be alone for long periods of time, and mostly they're okay. But don't misunderstand, because even when it comes to introverts, a lot of introverts, if they're alone for too long, it basically they just suddenly feel shaken, right? There's some people who are fine, and this is an intro. Both introverts and extroverts can learn how to be alone because they don't want to put up with anyone else's shit. But a lot of introverts, they'll be alone for so long that suddenly they'll just wake up one day and like, oh my God, I have no, like, what's going on? I'm gonna, I don't want to be alone forever. I mean, I want to hang out. I want to laugh with people. It happens with introverts. And again, I'll tell you, so many introverts will go, they'll put up this front like they don't need anyone, they don't need to communicate with anyone, they need absolutely no one, and then they start to feel alone. They start to feel alone, and they realize that they do want to be with people, they do want to have friends. It's just that they also like their alone time. So that's really a difficult one. But again, there are a lot of people who get to the point where they just don't want to deal with anyone else's bullshit. For example, I'm an extreme extrovert. I'm an extreme extrovert. I can pretty much talk. I have social anxiety, but I can pretty much talk to anyone and have long conversations with anyone as long as I don't feel uncomfortable or self-conscious or that people are judging me or maybe I'm talking too much or I get see that's the extrovert, and me at my finest, I'm actually very like, oh my gosh, like, I'll do like a snuggle hug and like rub my head against yours. I know you guys are like, I don't like people like that. I'm one of those people, but of course now I've gotten older and I don't like bullshit. I don't like bullshit from anyone. All right, because I've seen how what people are really like, and people are just terrible assholes. But I will say that, extroverts are needed in this world. Because if you left it up to introverts, nothing would ever get done. Shit. People would never even have kids. Introverts would just stay inside and basically say they'll see you in 20 years, and then in 20 years they don't even show up. It's not that they're not there. It's not that they're not there. It's in fact, it's not even that they've always forgotten. They just don't give a shit. They just don't give a shit. Like I said, introverts can be fucked up. Introverts can be really, really fucked up. And they'll say that they don't care, but a lot of them will still end up caring, but they'll just keep carrying they can just keep carrying on too. That's a whole different thing. They're a whole different class of animal. A whole different class of animal. But yeah, I mean, guys, as men, we have to be consciously aware of the way that society views us and the ways and what society is trying to do with us. Because society does not like us. Society absolutely despises us. It really, really does.
While the wife is called to submit to the husband is called to die for the wife, sacrificially. This means, men, that you are good, godly, loving, strong, sacrificial, courageous, and bold, as Jesus was towards the truth. He fought for his church, and hear me, he was victorious for his church. Men, that's how your demeanor is supposed to be. More men are less like Jesus in their marriage to the church, and more like Satan to the church. They're adversarial, they're frustrating, they're domineering, they're angry, they're manipulative, and they're coercive. Men, you don't own your wife's body. You are not in charge of your wife. You do not own her. You know who does? Jesus owns her. She was bought with a price, paid for by the precious blood of Jesus, just like you. You are called to steward your wife as Jesus stewarded the church, not lord over her like some god.
One of the most concerning things to me right now is this concept around sacrifice. Women are constantly saying that men need to sacrifice themselves. You know, the sim pastors are saying sacrifice yourself. Guys, this is a very serious and dangerous thing. Sacrifice yourself. Sacrifice yourself. That's witchcraft right there. Jesus was the ultimate sacrifice. After his sacrifice, it means that we no longer have to do sacrifices. You have to, in fact, wonder if God ever truly required sacrifices of us, or if it was something that human beings started to do as a result of trying to pay tribute to God, a practice that he allowed based on our understanding of it. Because what's very, very clear is God does not want us doing sacrifices anymore. If you are doing a sacrifice, that is of the devil. That is evil. And this notion of sacrificing is crazy. This woman is like, oh, the Bible requires that you sacrifice yourself, and the Bible is the word of God. So God requires that the man sacrifice himself for the woman. That's absolutely incorrect. When the Bible talks about sacrifices, the Bible is not talking about a man sacrificing himself for the woman that he's with. That's absolutely insane, absolutely ridiculous. Okay? What does it actually mean? So I actually went over to Copilot and I actually looked it up. Does the Bible tell men to sacrifice themselves for their wives? Here's where it actually, so let me read this. Yes, the Bible does instruct men to love their wives sacrificially. In Ephesians 5:25, it says, husbands, love your wives just as Jesus loved the church. Keep in mind, the church is not the modern day church. The church are simply believers in Jesus Christ. The church is a gathering of believers in Jesus Christ. Hence, the church are believers in Jesus Christ. That's the church. It is not a building, it is not a place, it is not an organization, it is not a religion. It is just simply referring to the believers in Jesus Christ. When Jesus gathered a bunch of people on a hill, and then he broke bread and he did all of these things and he fed all of these people. I want you guys to comprehend that was his church right there. And many of you go, well, that was a church without a building. No, 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 no. Those were his believers. That's it. So, the Bible instructs, it says, husbands, love your wives just as Jesus loved the church in the context I just described and gave himself up for her. This verse emphasizes that husbands should love their wives with the same selfless and sacrificial love that Jesus showed for the church. Is there a now? Here's where things get very interesting. So, does that mean a husband is compelled by the Bible to sacrifice his life and his own well-being for his wife? Absolutely not. The Bible and this is continued. The Bible's instruction for husbands to love their wives sacrificially, as seen in Ephesians 5:25, does indeed emphasize a profound level of selflessness and dedication. However, this doesn't necessarily mean that a husband is compelled to sacrifice his life or well-being. Notice the key word, well-being, in every situation. The key idea is that husbands should emulate Christ's love for the church, which is characterized by selflessness, care, and a willingness to put their wives' need above their own. This can manifest in various ways, such as providing emotional support, making personal sacrifices for the family's well-being, and ensuring that their wives feel valued and cherished. It's important to note that this teaching is about fostering a loving and mutually supportive relationship rather than promoting harmful self-neglect or martyrdom. Both partners in a marriage are encouraged to care for and support each other, creating a balanced and healthy relationship. See, guys, this is how crazy this is the world we live in with modern women. This is why we have to be so very careful as men, because they want to turn all of us into sacrifices, and no matter what they do, she will never value you. No matter what you do, she will never value. She only wants the things that you have. She only likes the things that you can do for her, but she will never actually love you. And guys, check out the Angry Guy Clubhouse on Substacks, dive into exclusive podcasts, manosphere topics, and more, plus get access to our passive income blueprint, exclusive videos and guides on building wealth and thriving. We also have a chat where you can reach me directly. Don't miss out. Click the link in the description to subscribe now and get your free passive income blueprint. What do you guys think right here? What do you think about everything that we've discussed? I want to know your opinion, guys. I mean, modern women have created a society. They've engaged in behavior that has drawn society into a place where people are just frustrated, men are frustrated, and they're continuing to push men out of society even though they need men desperately. Let me know, guys. This is only going to lead to more destitution, hardship, and poverty for women going forward, and a continued breakdown of the relationship and the family. Let me know your thoughts about everything we discussed, and we will discuss it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWM and walking away. And cheers.